Brett Spradlin here. Woo-hoo. Divine Design, Natural Health, and we got a rowdy crowd. Oh my goodness, are they out of control? We've got a ton of stuff to do tonight. Again, they're always out of control. A bunch of animals in here, I'm telling you. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it again. Oh my goodness. See what I told you? A bunch of animals, especially this guy right here. He's a pirate. He's an animal pirate. All right, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So this is our part 4 of a 4-part thing that we did all this year. This wonderful, glorious, awesome, beautiful year that it's been. We did one for each quarter, a class, each quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4, going through the 3 oils each time for in what's called the essential oils, the oils of ancient scripture. Mute that horrible voice. It's my own voice. Oh yeah, and hey, do you want to run through everything as far as like how to share and propagate all of that?
Yes.
Yeah, mute that horrible voice. It sounds too much like me.
All right.
Here's Andrea. Little pre-commercial break.
Of course, for everybody that's here, this will apply. We have a couple of new people, so I'll cover it. We have what is called a WellWorks rewards program where you get to spin the wheel.
Oh, wellness.
Yes, that was good. Okay. So you can get a stamp just by being here. You get a stamp for checking into the office when you get here. You get a stamp for sharing. Thank you, Vanna. You get I almost said a shot. We don't do that. You get a stamp for sharing the live feed, and then a stamp for bringing somebody new. And then for those of our community members, I guess you could say, who are watching online, you can also jump in on the fun. You can get a stamp for tagging 3 friends, a stamp for commenting where you're watching from, and a stamp for virtual stamp, I guess you could say, for what is the last one? Oh, commenting at the end what you learned, what your big take-home thing was. And then you get your stamps, get your entries into a drawing at the end of the month to win your choice of a foot spa package, a sauna package. And I think there are 1 or 2 other things you can pick from. But nonetheless, you can still, get in on the fun. So don't forget to do that. We also have our Vitamix giveaway that's coming up next month. It's only 2 to 3 weeks away. We're going to be doing it a week or 2 after we get back from a Thanksgiving break. And you get Vitamix entries by referring your friends and family, people you like, people you don't like, referring them to the office, and they become patients. So for your first friend or family member that you refer, you get 1 entry. The second person, you get 2 entries, which gives you a total of 3. And the third person, you get 3 entries, and so on. So if you refer like 12 people, you'll have, too many entries to count. Mm-hmm. But it only takes 1 entry to win. We had that happen last time we did it. Someone who only had like 1 entry won it. So get your entry in. Don't forget that. And should I tell them the other thing that we're going to do at the end?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So we had our election day giveaway where, you take pictures out in the front lobby and you post them with a certain hashtag. Well, we are going to finally be doing that giveaway drawing right after class. So it'll be a separate live video. So stick around.
Yeah, we expected the election to not take 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. But since it's not ending, we'll just go ahead.
So stick around. We'll be doing that at the end for those of you who are here, or if you're watching live, because you never know who might be winning it.
You never know.
It's an AquaTrue, right?
Yeah, it's an AquaTrue.
And if you win and you already have one, you can give it to somebody.
Yeah, it's an AquaTrue water filtration unit. It's a 4-stage. There's 4 filters in it, and it's a reverse osmosis system. It's worth about $500. I mean, it retails about $500. So we'll be doing a drawing for that tonight. Yep. Some of you are
hang around.
Some of you are very excited about this.
And stay engaged.
Yes, and stay engaged. And we'll be doing the wheel at the very end. Perfect, yes. Now, a little more housekeeping. Anyone who's never been here before, raise your hand if you've never been here before. Boom. 2 right here. We need a couple of these right down stage center. And this will be some very interesting reading for you all if you've never been here. And then here, fall 2020. We are in the middle of fall 2020 right here. There you go. Some good stuff in there for you. And then fall 2020 WellWorks. We have 3 classes left after tonight. November 23rd, Darkness to Light, Exposing the Lies, Part 9. How many of you thought that this would be going since March? But the CV19 thing and some of the other things that you can't say without being censored on social media and other outlets now. We've been going strong. Part 6, Part 7, Part 8, Part 9. Part 9 is going to be next week. We've been doing it every 2 weeks since March, just bringing to you kind of a condensed version, a condensed down. I listen to 30, 40, 50 different, whether they're pastors or ministries or scientists or epidemiologists or immunologists or virologists, top doctors out there, top ministries, top news sources out there that are not CNN and Fox and MSNBC, kind of dialing all of this nonsense that you're being told into something that is digestible and feasible and tangible for everybody to look at and go, hey, this is logical, this is sensible, this is biblical. So we've been doing that now all year. Next week, 11:23 is Darkness to Light, Exposing the Lies, Part 9. If you didn't know that the media was funky, you now know, after 2 weeks ago, the election, the media is funky. If you're still getting your news from CNN and Fox, I don't care. People say, well, I listen to Fox. It's all the same. How many of you were here last week when we did the Operation Mockingbird thing? Look it up. I'll look up Operation Mockingbird. Just look at it. We played a little video last week. Go back, check it out. You might like it. You might hate it. Regardless, get away from TV. Just get away from it. If there's paid advertising, come on in, brother. If there's paid advertising, you are being programmed. I promise you. December 7th, Lies Doctors Tell, Part 4. How many of you have been to our other Part 1, 2, and 3 of Lies Doctors Tell? Part 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, half the room. So Lies Doctors Tell, Part 4, December 7th. That is a class. It's Part 4. I mean, you should probably go back and watch Part 1, 2, and 3 just to get the nitty-gritty. But that's a series that I put together just from listening to patients, most of them being medical professionals. I put together saying, wow, you heard that from your doctor? Lies Doctors Tell, December 7th. That's Part 4. All the Part 1, 2, and 3 are back on Facebook and YouTube. It'll blow your mind. And half of this stuff you've heard. You've heard, I promise. You've been told this before. And then on December 14th, notice we do a class every week. On December 14th, we do Darkness to Light, Exposing the Lies, Part 10. Anybody know what that's about? Just kidding. Tonight is Essential Oils, Biblical First Aid, Part 4. Oh, and hey, can you grab the spikenard and the galbanum off my desk? Or can you you know what they're in the little tiny things off my desk in the back. I forgot to grab those. So tonight I have a special treat for you because spikenard and galbanum are a couple of oils that are no longer available, but we have them because someone named Ashley Gilmore, who is closely related to Charlie Gilmore, graciously gave us, she's the wife. Ashley and Charlie are a great couple. They've got 3, now 4 kids as of a couple weeks ago. And Ashley gave us galbanum and spikenard. How many of you have ever heard of spikenard? Yes, if you read the Bible, you've heard of spikenard. So we've got a little bit of that you need to take a little sample of tonight. A little, you need to at least smell it if you've never smelled it before. Now, to back up, perfect, thank you. And I'll pass these around a little bit. Don't let me forget to pass these around. And I was going to cover myrrh tonight, but I stupidly left all of my stuff at home, my myrrh and my biblical oils kit at home. So if you go back and you look at, in February, we did our first class on biblical essential oils. What we did was we took what used to be a 12 set of biblical essential oils, the top biblical essential oils, the top ones that are actually mentioned in Scripture. Young Living used to have a 12 oil kit. Now the kit's only 10, but you can still get the kit minus the spikenard and the galbanum. So we went through, Part 1 was in February, we covered frankincense, we covered cypress, and we covered onycha. Part 2 was in May. We did one each quarter. So Part 2 was in May. That was sacred sandalwood, aka aloes. You'll hear it in the Bible referred to as aloes. Cassia and hyssop. Hyssop was the branch that was lifted up, the last smell that Jesus smelled. Very interesting, right? Part 3 was August 10th that we did that. That was the Rose of Sharon. That's also known as cistus. If you've ever read the Song of Solomon, you've heard of the Rose of Sharon, right? Also known as cistus. Then, and in Part 3, we also did cedarwood. How many of you know the cedars of Lebanon? The temple was made out of, King Solomon, King David. They were the stuff they were smelling all the time for kingly wisdom. Very interesting, cedarwood. And myrtle we did, Part 3. Part 4, tonight, 11/16, 2 weeks after the election. That should have taken one night. Part 4, it's just crazy. It's 2020. I'm just telling you, it gets crazier. Part 4 tonight, we're doing myrrh, spikenard, and galbanum. Now, I'll pass these around in a little bit, but what I'll also do is I'll pass my little thingamajigger around, and I can show you. This is my kind of travel kit here. It's a 30 oils in here. So I've got some of the stuff that I use regularly. These are all roll-ons, more roll-ons, and then, oh yeah, more roll-ons. And then some of this stuff here is what I put in coffee, water, tea, whatever. And then over here, just stuff to diffusion stuff. So I use and wear and drink and eat a lot of oils. You don't have to, and I can't recommend that, everybody does that. But if you understand what's in them and you understand how powerful they are, like what we're going to talk about tonight, you will have a little setup like this where you can refer to and use the powerful, powerful oils that have been around thousands of years in a little doohickey like this. I will pass this around. And you ought to take a whiff. I don't care. Take a whiff, take a smell, share your COVID, put it all over. It's fine. I'm immune. So the Oils of Ancient Scripture kit, like I told you before, used to have 12 oils. Now it only has 10. But spikenard and galbanum, once that's gone around, I'll pass you the 2 that we're going to talk about tonight. I'm sorry. I apologize. Myrrh, I just don't have. So we did 3 each class for the last quarter. When we get to next month, we're going to start doing these classes at least once a month. So everybody here, especially if you're on our team, half the room's on our team. So especially if you're on our team, you're going to want to avail yourselves of some of this knowledge. It's not only how to use oils and get away from some of the chemically laden and very fraudulent companies out there that are ripping you off and telling you it's all natural and blah, 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 making you sick while you're paying them money. It's a way to get away from some of that stuff, but also, for those who are interested, you can put a little cheddar in your own pocket, and we'll teach you how to do that. And cheddar is AKA moolah, dinero, cheddar. You know what I mean? So I don't ever want to overlook a gift from God, from our Creator. And so when you understand God made plants and called them good, then you also understand He did not abandon you here on planet Earth to be ravaged by diseases. He did everything He's going to do. He put everything on this planet that He's ever going to put on this planet for your health and your well-being. Right under our noses. He put it right under our noses. Unfortunately, we have been tricked into fearing plants while we financially pledge allegiance to a man-made system that is bent on profits from sickness and long-term chronic disease. So you've been made to be afraid of plants, right? People say, oh, what's this herb going to do to me? What's this thing going to do to me? You've been bred, you've been mentally manipulated to think this plant is going to hurt me, while taking 15 medications made in a laboratory by an atheist who hates your God, who made those plants. Does that make sense? It's the most ultimate ridiculosity you could ever imagine, coming straight from the media and straight from the TV that we just talked about, feeding you lies since the day you were born. God was the original gardener. Here is a verse, Genesis 1:2, when Dante's got this ready to rock. Oh yeah, biblical first aid. Isn't this nice? Andrea put this all together. This is nice. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, isn't that beautiful? Everybody, oh, yes. So the first slide here, God was the original gardener. God was also the first aromatherapist. Check this out. Oh, where are we at?
It looks like I'm missing the Genesis one, but I have all the others.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, maybe it's Andrea's fault. Never mind. Let's reverse all that clapping. Reverse all that clapping. Edit out the clapping. So the catalyzing statement, let's just go straight into the catalyzing statement then. Nope. Okay. We should have gone through this. My fault. So purposes, though, let's just get right into this. Purposes of oils, they support your endocrine, your circulatory. I get to answer that. Somebody's phone goes off. I get to answer it however I want. Purposes. They support your endocrine, your circulatory, your digestive, your nervous, and your reproductive systems. There's no drug on earth that will do that. They clear lungs and sinuses to help us breathe better. Well, that's interesting, given the time that we're living. They help metabolize nutrients, minerals, and vitamins. That's a huge thing. They help you metabolize things. Drugs shut down your physiology. If the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, you have to understand why every drug blocks, suppresses, or inhibits. It's in the name of the drug, in clear sight, plain, legible English. Proton pump inhibitors. Beta blockers. It's in the name of the drug. It blocks your physiology. So they help open up your physiology. They metabolize nutrients, minerals, and vitamins. They boost our defenses to fight disease. How many of you are interested in that? You know, the FDA says food has no therapeutic value, right? And you have to be very careful, right? It's unbelievable. The Food and Drug Administration says food can't help you, but you got to rely on your drugs. Okay? They boost our defenses to fight disease. This is a very important thing, given the fact that they're telling you that the only way that you can survive and be happy and healthy is to take something that's not proven to work and that actually is full of poisons. Interesting, right? They can also be hostile to what? Bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. Interesting. I just put those in there for a reason. I hope you understand why. Because these are very powerful, molecular just machines that you can use at your disposal. Do we have the catalyzing statement up somewhere? Let's do it. Right on. Catalyzing statement. This is why we're here. The whole reason why you guys are here. We're building a community, okay? Understand this too. We'll come back to this in just a minute. What I was saying just earlier, do you realize what life could be like, or what life would be like when you remove the cobwebs from your mind that have been put there, that have collected over the years, and when you remove the poisons from your body that you've been manipulated into thinking need to be there? Well, I only take aspirin as a blood thinner. How many years have you taken it? Since 1982. You know what that'll do to your liver, your kidneys? Well, your hairspray and your cosmetics and your things made by Procter & Gamble and other companies that really, really, really love you. You know, when people really dust off the cobwebs out of their mind and they relinquish the hold of the poisons in their bodies, do you have any idea how good life could be for you? You'd lose weight, amen. You'd feel better, amen. Yeah. Once you get rid of the crap that you've been taking for 30-something years, yeah? 40 years, sorry, I underestimated. Bad with my times. Once you start, you look like you're feeling better, yeah? You're not even a patient here yet. You've just been coming to classes and learning things, right? Amen. How about you, Jody? Yeah? Start living right, start understanding, start reading a couple books, reading a couple handouts, watching a couple documentaries, understanding, wait a minute. Some of the stuff I've been being told doesn't hold mustard. There's no, you know, doesn't make sense. Do you have any idea the power that you could have? You're getting there. Some of you are getting there. Wow, it smells good in here. So if you think you have not been mentally manipulated, you have been mentally manipulated. We all have. Just admit it. We all have. I was manipulated in school and growing up in grade school and high school and college, and 3 bachelor's degrees manipulated me, and 4 minor's degrees manipulated me, and my doctorate degree definitely manipulated me, and then my 2 postdocs definitely manipulated me. And then you get out of all that school, 15 years of college, and you get out and you go, huh, it was all crap. All of it was crap. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you all not to go to college or anything like that, but you have to evaluate what you're learning. And the system long ago is very different than the system now. So you have to understand, if we had it figured out, why are people still getting sicker? Why are kids in this country, the highest infant mortality rate in the world, this country? Why is SIDS and autism going through the roof? Why is it prophesied by the false prophets who actually tell you the truth every once in a while? Why is it prophesied that 1 out of 2 Americans by 2030 will have cancer? And that by 2030, there will be no normal males born in the United States within the next 10 years. You've all heard this, right? I've taught on this for a long time. I can show you the quotes. I can show you the articles. So remember this. Think about this. Do you realize what could be different when you're not in constant medical fear, right? And have broken out of the death cult that you've literally been born into? You've been born into a death cult from the time that they popped you out in a hospital. So when you wake up and you see that you don't have to be in constant medical fear from a diagnosis falling out of the sky, he was perfectly healthy and then he got diagnosed with? How many times have you heard that? Well, if he got diagnosed with cancer, he wasn't perfectly healthy to begin with, right? So just remember, there's so many things that we've been lied to about. This is one of them. Commercial break. Commercial break. Andrea,
right.
yay!
Danny better be clapping. All right. So this is a testimonial actually about essential oil, someone who used this for something that she would have previously used something that would have been harmful. So here it goes. She said, head lice. Need I say more? I found a couple of live bugs and had noticed some itchiness. I washed my scalp and hair with my shampoo and tea tree and clove essential oils. It's been a week and I haven't found any bugs or noticed as much itchiness. So it can, I mean, literally, like what can they not be used for is a better question. That's a shorter answer.
That's a much shorter answer.
Yes.
Exactly.
And you've got memes.
We have memes. We'll go to the memes here in just a minute. But just to put a period on the end of this sentence, kind of like you say, why are we all here? Because we're in the sacred service of saving lives ahead of time. And when we're doing that, we are globally freeing billions of beings through all natural biblical healthcare. People think you're nuts when you say biblical healthcare. What are you talking about? Honey, this is the traditional conventional. What you're used to is New Age witchcraft. It's New Age witchcraft. I'm just here to tell you. So, with that in mind, let's check out a couple memes and get a little comic relief from the heaviness. I don't have the coronavirus, guys. I have no symptoms. Having no symptoms is one of the symptoms. Huh? You can't make this up. They think you're that stupid. The same people who are counting the cases are the same people who counted Sleepy Joe's votes. Yeah, and then they're telling you to take the poison. Oh, it's coming. All right, next one. Unhappy with your minor or non-existent COVID symptoms? Get really sick with antibody-dependent enhancement from our new corona vaccine. That's what they're calling it, ADE, antibody-dependent enhancement. They're not judging it by if it works, which no vaccine does. No shot does, so you have to be careful about the words you say. They'll censor you with the artificial intelligence. But the ADE, the antibody-dependent enhancement, they're saying, see, it doesn't matter if it's going to save your life from they measure the effectiveness by putting it in you and seeing if your body develops antibodies to it. Your body will develop antibodies to anything you put that's anti your body. So see, the deck is stacked against you to begin with, man. It's like the tests that nobody took, but they still test positive. Next, the world right now, and me saying, anybody need some lavender? Lavender is very odoriferous, very good, but it's also good for burns. So that's kind of a double meaning. See what we did? I love it. I love it. All right, so what do we do here? How do we do this? Man, we're just using ancient stuff like light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, hands. See, people think electricity was invented 150, 200 years ago. It's been here forever. We just figured out a way to harness it and what to call it. But all these things, these 7 things here, that's all we use. Light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, and these guys right here. Okay? And we can use these anywhere. They don't have to be on a table or anything. You can sit, you can stand, you can lay down face up, you can lay down face down. Doesn't matter. These hands work in every position. Do you realize what life will be like when you remove the cobwebs and the poisons? And do you realize what can be different when you're not in constant medical fear and have broken out of the death cult you've literally been born into? Death cult. What do I mean by that? Oh, I don't know. Epidurals, C-sections, sacrificial stuff on the altar in a new temple that we call a hospital with priests that wear white coats. It's all just ancient stuff. It's just in our time. See, we think it's different, but it's really the same. It's ancient. It's ancient. It's ancient deception. All right, so next. Oh, yeah. Now, get this. And this is how, and the solution. The solution is what the stuff is that you're holding in your hands. You know what? Pass that back through and let everybody else smell them again. Take another big old rip. Take another big old hit of that stuff. You can't get enough. You're going to kill yourself. Take some of those roll-ons and just roll on your skin and feel it. Here come the holidays, widely considered very stressful times to many people. Now, you might be asking yourself, why, if we live in the most, technologically advanced society in recorded history, why are the kids sicker? Why are the people fatter? Why are people on more drugs? Why do people watch more TV and play more video games? Why is everybody so angry? Why is everybody so much, there's so much. I taught a class, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Last week, psychiatry class. It was a class on change your mind, change your life. 2 weeks ago, was it? Oh yeah, time flies when you're having corona. But so I taught a class 2 weeks ago on Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. And it was all about the psychiatric stuff and the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, which doesn't have any statistics, but it's the book, it's the Bible that psychiatry is based on. And we went through the whole anxiety, depression thing, and we went through all these psychiatric diagnoses and said, here's what you're going to get diagnosed with, here's what the drug they're going to fix it, or here's the drug they're going to give you to try to fix it. And we said, why so much anxiety, depression? I presented this in that class. I thought this would be a good one to bring back up. So why is there so much confusion and anger and bitterness? Why is so much road rage and so many people shooting each other, which hasn't really happened in the last 4 years? I don't know if you noticed that or not. There's been no school shootings that I've heard of. But why do some people act the way they do? Now, remember this, because here comes Turkey Day, if you're not locked down, if you're allowed to have, which, by the way, resist. You go where you want to go and you do what you want to do. They can't stop you. But you go to Turkey Day and watch some of your relatives, watch people, if they freak out and they act out and they act, mean or bitter or angry, it could possibly be because of this. They're fluoridated by the water supply from their tap water. They're medicated by the drugs. They're not thinking like humans. When they walk in here and they're on 12 medications and they're missing 6 organs and they've been sick for 35 years, but their insurance premiums have paid for all of it, they're not human. They're not thinking like a human being. Why? Because they're medicated. They're on 12 mind-altering drugs. An average American over 50 is on 15. That's average. That's average. This is a word that we can't really say because the artificial intelligence Skynet robots will come and shoot me and take me out and get rid of my Facebook and my YouTube and my Google and all that crap. But we're moving anyway. Find us on Parler. Find us on MeWe. We're going. We're going. But people are shotinated. They're glyphosated. Glyphosated that's the Roundup, that's the herbicide and the stuff that's on the wheat and the bread and the noodles and all the crap that you're buying that's in a package or a bag. That's Roundup, that's from Bayer, that's from Monsanto, which is now known as Bayer. They changed the name and think you're not smart enough to follow who they are. And then cosmeticated, and people are wondering why their eyes are swollen and their lips are chapped and, they've got all this stuff going on with their thyroid and stuff because they're poisoning themselves with expensive cosmetics made from petroleum products. So when old Creepy Joe gets rid of when he gets rid of the oil industry, guess what? You got a problem right here. And you got a big problem right here. And you got a big problem right here. And you got a big problem. See where I'm going? Good try, Sleepy Joe. But then you're cosmeticated, you're food sedated, you're eating chemical-based, artificially preserved and artificially sweetened rot that is food-like products that is not meant to be consumed. Well, I'll just pray over my food. Paul wouldn't have prayed over that because Paul wouldn't have known that that was food. It's not food. You're being lied to. And then irradiated. You're being, when you're holding this to your head. So put all of this, when you're holding this to your head and when you're driving around and you're in a building that has 47 different, wireless devices going on, when you put all of this stuff together, it's a wonder that any of us is still breathing. I know me through college. I mean, I ate the crappiest food I could get a hold of. Did we not? Didn't all of us? So it's amazing that when a kid is under 12 years old and has 72 doses of shots, it's amazing that any of us survives. The human body is almost unkillable, right? So when people are acting weird, when you can't figure out why, the dude at the cubicle next to you at work, you just can't reason with him, it's very likely that your coworkers and family members have differing views, at least in part, due to the list above. So when you're talking to people and they just don't get it, that might be why. So just understand that. So here we are planting a community, a forest, a nation of healthy trees, right? That will cover the earth with good news in a God-ordained way. That's what we're doing here. So it's a community, man. You come here. How many of you are patients right here? Raise hands. Good. How many of you are not patients? 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, hey, you're outnumbered. Try to get away from us. Just try to get away from us. So we're planting a community. So people come here and they learn. They hear testimonials that you're about to hear, and they go, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because they've never heard a pediatrician or an OBGYN or a family practice doctor with testimonials. Do you know any? Does anyone in this room know a doctor that has testimonials? Anybody? This room's 20-something people in here, and nobody knows a doctor that has testimonials? Guess what? This guy does. There's a whole wall of them on that wall out in the front lobby there. So just go ahead and help yourselves to some of that. Now, what does this mean? Abundant living. Prescriptions with, hold on. What does this mean? So essential oils, hold on, we'll get there. You keep that up, though. So what does that mean? That we have a nation of trees that will cover the earth with good news in a God-ordained way. What does that mean? It means abundant living, right? But people think, well, I've got prescriptions of the $5 copay, so, that's abundant. No, it ain't. They're killing you. You're paying to be murdered. That's what you're doing. Does it mean prescriptions of the $5 copay, or does it mean clean living with no mind manipulation or witchcraft? Which one, first or second? Second one, right? You want clean living with no mental manipulation, right? All right, so let's get right into this. Essential oils have been used throughout history. Now, when we talk about essential oils, it's like all that stuff. Are you passing it back through? Circle, yeah, circle. No. Take your time. Just circle it back through so everybody can get a whiff. Essential oils. What do we mean by this? What's the big craze? They've been around for a long time. Gary Young was the dude that about 35, 40 years ago, he started the aromatherapy movement single-handedly. He was a genius. He was an absolute and total genius. But essential oils are basically the lifeblood, the essence of the plant. They're the molecules in the plant that when they're distilled down through different methods, usually steam distillation, that when they're distilled down, it's the the juice, the plant juice. Just think of essential oils as the plant juice. They have been used throughout history. Back in the day when they didn't have big pharma, right, in the Bible, what were they using? Essential oils. And a lot of times, they had much better effects. A lot of times. So the Ebers Papyrus is an Egyptian document dating back almost 1600 years BC, and it records over 700 recipes and protocols for plant therapy. And even that copy of it is recognized as a copy of a much, much older version. So we're talking about ancient medicine here. We're talking about ancient, traditional, conventional, good stuff that has now been rediscovered in a modern way. Sound like divine design? Sound like light, water, heat, electricity, plants, animals, and hands? So that's why we use it. See, it fits right into the paradigm. It fits right into the mold of what we're doing. So pharaohs were buried with vats of oils. Oils were important cultural traditions in healthcare, perfuming, embalming, etc. People lived and knew how to use the plants long ago, and they were better off because of it. We, for the most part, have forgotten art. Forgotten art in many ways. Let's go to the next one. We'll get your. Let me just finish this thought right here. So the Babylonians. Oh no. Where's the thing? The next slide. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is fine. Babylonians, Chinese, East Indians, Egyptians, Sumerians. They all used steam distillation as far back as 3500 BC. So this technology disappeared. Around 1000 BC. And was gone by 580. Persians, the modern day Iran, right, is Persia. Persians rediscovered steam distillation centuries later. Okay, I don't mean to mess with your commercial breaks. Commercial break.
The most important part.
This is the most important part.
Yes. So this, again, is a testimonial about kind of a routine, if you want to think of it that way. Common, not normal, because there is a difference. Common, thing that someone would normally deal with that you would typically nowadays use something other than oils for, but this person was able to use oils and solve her problem and be better off for it. She said, I had toe pain in the corner of my right toe from an ingrown toenail for several months. I put thieves oil on my toe and used a brush to get in the corner, and after using it twice, the pain was completely gone. Thieves is one of Young Living's proprietary blends and one of their most commonly used ones as well, and has a wide variety of applications besides just your toe. Besides just using it on ingrown toenails. Imagine that. You can use it to clean anything. It's mouthwash, it's toothpaste, it's cleaning supply, it's the whole 9 yards. These guys figured it all out. They figured it all out. Trust us. Let's go back to the memes. A caged bird may live longer, but is it really living? And then here's all the birds talking. Look at that idiot putting us all in danger. Because of people like that, we'll never be safe. While they're living in a cage, making fun of the dude flying. Isn't that nuts? Oh yeah, you gotta wear your mask, yep. And I feel sorry for, here. My face when I pull up next to someone driving alone. Anybody know who that is? Lou Ferrigno, Incredible Hulk. One of my heroes, yeah. All right, next. God says if I eat this, I'll die. Independent fact checkers have proven this to be false. That is fake news. Isn't that unbelievable? I mean, we are so screwed up that, these fact checkers, they're not volunteers. Somebody's paying them. Who's paying them, right? Is that it for this one? Boom. Very nice. All right. So
Now, here's some math for you. 1 drop of oil contains 40 quintillion molecules. 40 quintillion. You know how many that is? Let me show you. Check this out. So here, watch this. Who in here has a lot of money? I'm just kidding. Ah. So that's million, billion, trillion, quadrillion. Geez, I didn't even make this. Quintillion. So 40 quintillion. See, I didn't even leave enough room there for the zeros. I thought I would have plenty of room. 40. What did I say? 40 quintillion. Yeah, 40 quintillion. So, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. Make sense? 1 drop of oil has that many molecules in it. The guy who had to count those, I hope he got paid well. He's still on overtime. Just kidding. So our bodies contain about 100 trillion cells. So any single drop of essential oil can cover every cell in our body with tens of thousands of life-giving molecules. Isn't that crazy? So when you think about the power of frankincense, or you think about the power of the myrrh that I forgot and left at my house for you guys to smell, that you're going to forgive me for, when you think about the power of even stuff like lemon oil, just put it in lemon vitality, like you put it in your water, you put it in your coffee, or you put it in your tea, or you put it in, you can cook with it, you can bake with it, you can aromatically put it in a diffuser, you can wear it. I just went back here, I'm addicted. I just went back here and I sauced up my face while you were talking with a little joy. So let's get into some biblical stuff. 1 drop of oil. Oh yeah, go back to that though. Look at that number. Isn't that ridiculous? It's ridiculous. 100 trillion cells. Any single drop of essential oil can cover every cell in our body with tens of thousands of molecules. Let's go to the next one. Now, here's some stuff I'll just read right off the screen here. How many references to essential oils are in the Bible? Well, most of the books of the Bible mention oils and aromatic plants. Out of the 36 of the 39 books of the OT, 10 of the 27 books of the NT contain references to essential oils and the plants that produce them. So if you're into that book, you ought to be into this stuff. Check this out. In total, 70% or over 2/3 of the books of the Bible have some mention of essential oils and or the aromatic plants from which they are derived. So if you want a tool to be able to help you overcome some major hurdles in your life, or to be able to help you break free of that crazy fear that you have of some diagnosis falling out of the sky, not only get with somebody who's a natural health physician such as myself, but get with somebody who can tell you what you need, what kind of oils to use. Get trained. Understand this. It doesn't just happen overnight, and you know, but we can help you. We can train you. Let's go to the next one. Where am I? EOs are referenced many times in the Old and New Testaments. They were a part of daily living among Israelites, Jews, early Christians, and their Gentile neighbors throughout biblical times. And it would be accurate to say that essential oils, healing oils, their plant sources and or their uses are mentioned in the Bible more than 1,000 times, representing at least 33 species. So there are 33 species in the Bible, right? Mentioned in the Bible. There are specific mentions. I don't think we put this in there. There are specific mentions. Yeah, we didn't need to put all this in there. Where that's mentioned specifically, such as like if it says frankincense, myrrh, there are specific mentions to actual plants in the Bible. Then there are things like indirect mentions, where it's a specific oil or aromatic plant is implied, but it's not explicitly stated. That's like when they say, when the Bible will say something like holy incense, or when it says they brought the oils for embalming. You know, it's not a specific mention, it's an indirect mention. Other examples are holy anointing oil, or when it says something like ointment or spices, that's a non-specific, or what they call an indirect mention. There are also general mentions where oils are clearly implied, but their species is undetermined, such as like when the Bible says sweet savors, or when it says odors or spices, another way of saying incense, or perfume, or you've heard it called oils of joy or oils of gladness, right? That is where there's general mentions. So there's specific mentions of specific plants. There's indirect, where it's more of a group thing, like oils of incense or oils of this or that. And then there's the indirect, and then there's the general mentions. That's like sweet savors, odors, spices, where they generally mention a bunch of stuff together. A lot of information has been conglomerated on this stuff. If you're on our team, let us know afterwards, and we'll tell you like some resources you can get or read or go to, and we'll direct you in some interesting ways. But there's so many ways that they're mentioned in the Bible. The best way to sum it up is right here. It would be accurate to say that essential healing oils, their plant sources and or their uses, are mentioned in the Bible more than 1,000 times, representing at least 33 species. The actual number is 1,031, and there's 33 species. 33 is a very interesting biblical number, is it not? Very interesting biblical number, huh? All right, commercial break.
Yes. All right. So this, again, is another way that essential oils can replace, I guess I should say, toxic things that you may or may not currently be using or someone you know is using. So this person says, I was taking 4 to 6 ibuprofen at a time, 2 to 3 times per month for headaches. When asked, how are you now? This person says, I have not taken any ibuprofen since becoming a patient here about 1 year ago. When I do have the rare headache, I found a natural remedy through supplements, liquids, oils, etc.
Yes. Supplements, liquids,
Yes.
oils. Oh, yeah. And supplements, what they mean by liquids is supplements. So, a lot of times we use whole food supplements, which are either capsulized or tabletized. Many times we use homeopathic liquids or liquid botanicals, or a lot of times liquid herbals. A few companies that we use. And then there's other stuff that we use like, well, we won't get into that right now, but liquids, what that said was supplements, liquids, and oils. So there's a lot of stuff we use. All right, so now let's get down to the nitty gritty of the last 3 oils in this whole kit. Oh yeah, I forgot, we've got a little comic relief. If you just take this vaccine, everything will go back to normal. How many of you know that's where we're going eventually? Hopefully not soon, but eventually, right? Commercials in 2030. Were you or someone you know overly exposed to hand sanitizers, Lysol, or bleach during the 2020 coronavirus pandemic? If so, you may be eligible for compensation. It's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. All right. Next. Oh, okay. Yeah, we try to throw a little bit of comic. You guys like the comic relief? You like the memes and stuff? It's so interesting because so many people are so right on, and there's such a, I don't know. We keep them. I keep a running total on my phone, and the girls just go through my phone and pick the best ones. So it's kind of a meeting of the minds. All right. So the last 3 in this whole kit. Now remember, when we covered the kit, you can actually get the kit. It's just 10 of the 12. The 2 that you wouldn't get are spikenard and galbanum. I'll pass around spikenard, okay? Well, I'll pass around galbanum first. Galbanum, I'll pass it around here in a second. Take and open this up. Don't dump it like this, but you can get a good whiff just by opening up this little thing here. Pass this around. Yeah, very woodsy. Very, 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 very woodsy. That's the top, okay? So that's galbanum. So remember, we did frankincense, cypress, and onycha previously. Probably the only ones in here that you guys are very familiar with are frankincense. But cypress and onycha have very, very great uses too. Then we also did sacred sandalwood. Sacred sandalwood is very expensive. Many of you know it as aloes. It smells like aloe, like the aloe plant. Cassia and hyssop we did in part 2. Part 3 we did the rose of Sharon, which is one of my favorites. And cedarwood and myrtle. This time we're doing myrrh, spikenard, and galbanum. Here's myrrh. So we took a lot of different resources. We took a lot of different things from a lot of different books, boiled it all down, put it together into these slides, and eventually we'll splice out everything regarding all 12 of these oils, and we'll put them into one little thing for all of our team to understand. Myrrh. We took the source. We took the ancient uses, the modern uses, and the scriptures. Source is the oleogum resin from the trunks and the limbs. The ancient uses: protection against infection during pregnancy, protection against generational curses, reducing anxiety, removing stretch marks, oral hygiene, insect repellent. Not very useful. You know the side effects of it? Goose egg. Modern uses: antiseptic, thyroid and endocrine balance, immune support, diarrhea, thrush in babies, ringworm, chapped skin, wrinkles. I mean, is there anything there you wouldn't want to fix? You know? I mean, I put this in a little skin, a special little skin thing that I use all the time. So I've got like probably 12 to 15 different oils that I put in a little skin serum that I use, and that's why I only look 14 years old. Many of you have asked me. That's my secret. Oh yeah, see? See, I knew it. Antiseptic, thyroid, endocrine balance. So women, you know, how many of you would love to use this instead of being on Synthroid for year 39 and year 40, right? I don't mean age, I mean the number of years you've been on the crap. Then scriptures, it's mentioned 18 times directly, 138 times indirectly. See, that's why I was telling you. Directly, it's mentioned like myrrh, in the letters, myrrh. Indirectly, it will say something like anointing oil or spices or something like that. Indirectly, 138 times. Genesis, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, Mark, John, those are some examples. So, Commiphora, myrrh. So that's myrrh. So frankincense, myrrh, and frankincense, gold, and myrrh, what they brought to baby Jesus. Why would they be bringing this to baby Jesus? Huh? Well, it's necessary, but what would it possibly be used for? According to the ancient uses, protection against infection during pregnancy, protection against generational curses, reducing anxiety. Were they stressed out a little bit? Right? Not being able to find a Motel 6? Coming across the desert, you know, hightailing it across the desert, and none of the Airbnbs are open. Reducing anxiety, removing stretch marks. I mean, was it for baby Jesus, or might it have been also for Mary? Who knows, right? Oral hygiene, insect repellent. I don't know. They probably got some pretty big, insects over there, right? All right. So myrrh. Let's now go to galbanum, the one that's being passed around. Who's got that? What do y'all think of that? It's bringing back a memory, yeah. Yep. Yeah, me too. I can't either. Yeah, pass that up here. Let me bring back a memory. So galbanum, it's the resins from the stems and the branches. That's the source. See, a lot of oils will come from the flowers or the stems or the leaves or the branches or the bark, of the bush or the tree or the shrub or the flower, right? So there's so much to it. Ancient uses: holy anointing oils, perfume, pain relief, spasms and cramps, to diuretic. What are perfumes made of now? Oil. Straight up oil. Petroleum-based cosmetics and petroleum-based oils poison to your body. What are all the drugs made out of? Oil. What are all the cosmetics made out of? What do all the vaccines have in them? What do all the perfumes? What are they made of? You know what this smells like to me? It smells like the little room that we had Sunday school in at the Faith Assembly of God in Olivet, Michigan. It's exactly what that smells like. It smells like wood. Smells like the.
I had some wood or something.
Yeah, probably had the varnish on the pews or something. So ancient uses, that's pain relief, spasms, stuff like that. Modern uses, and remember, these are the two that you can't get anymore. They're not available. You probably get them from other companies that are diluted or adulterated in some way, shape, or form with perfume agents or other things from the pharmaceutical companies, or the distillations from the oil companies and stuff like that. But modern uses: abscesses, acne, asthma, indigestion, aches, pain, scar tissue, wrinkles, wounds, antiseptic. What? This thing has so many uses. You'd be silly not to start using these things, because these are going to massively affect the pharmaceutical industry. Everybody wants in on this. everybody knows they're trying to get away from the cancer causing chemicals, and so many people are becoming, I shouldn't say everybody knows, but so many people are becoming aware because of Ty and Charlene Bollinger and things like The Truth About Cancer and The Truth About Pet Cancer and The Truth About Vaccines and all these documentaries and all these doctors coming out of the woodwork and pediatricians waking up and, oncologists finally waking up. So many people are coming out of the woodwork and realizing like half of this cancer epidemic that you're being told is genetic is just coming from the stuff you're putting in your shopping cart. It's so simple to stop, but your insurance won't pay for that. They'll pay for your CAT scans and your MRIs and your blood labs and your oncology biopsies and crap like that. So look at this. Look how simple. Look how many things this would fix. It's mentioned one time directly, 54 times indirectly. See, so the choices that they made in including these 12 oils into the Oils of Ancient Scripture kit are very, based on numbers, right? So galbanum. So that one we passed around now. Here's the big daddy. Here's the one you can't. Here's the reason why. Just a little thought occurred while I was studying all this out when, pass that around. Be careful with that. Here's why Judas became a communist. I'm just telling you. I had this thought when I was studying this, a year's wages of spikenard, and Judas says, we could have taken that money and done what with it? Distributed it to the... I thought, wow, Judas, the world's first commie. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. I mean, you could probably there'd probably, somebody could argue that wasn't a communist thing, but we're living in, commie 2.0 America right now, so that's galbanum. This is spikenard. This is what was, Jesus was anointed with this on his head and his feet, depending on the book you read, Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, and right before he went to be crucified. Very important oil right here. So this is it. This is crazy. This is it. Spikenard. Nardostachys jatamansi. Don't call me names. Just kidding. Source, this is from the root. I mean, look at this. Isn't that beautiful? From the plant roots. Ancient uses, perfumes, medicines, skin tonic, incense, and reducing anxiety. So when you look at that and you understand what was she thinking? What was she knew what was up. She knew what was going on. Modern uses, allergies, migraines, nausea. I've got a story I'll tell you where all allergies come from, if you want to stick around later. Allergies, migraines, nausea, cardiovascular support, tachycardia. What's tachycardia? Tachycardia is fast heart. If you don't have tachycardia, AFib, bradycardia, hypertension, hypotension, then you're just not a human anymore because you've got, so many heart conditions, heart disease. See, somebody got diagnosed with tachycardia, that would be called heart disease. I taught a whole class a while back, might have been February, thank you, called We Heart You, and it was all about all the heart conditions. Everybody's getting diagnosed with AFib, congestive heart failure, all the nonsense, the heart attacks, and the AFib, and the ventricular fibrillation, all these names that are basically the same thing of all this stuff that your friends and your family and your aunts and your uncles and your grandparents and your daughters and your kids, they're all being diagnosed with all these heart conditions. Why is everybody's heart failing? I answered it in that class. Oh, and here's another question. What is one organ in your body that will never get cancer? Your heart. You ever heard of anybody with heart cancer? Think about it. That's why. Watch that class. We'll tell you why. Modern uses. Here's all the modern uses. But look at that. Scriptures, there's 7 times it's mentioned directly, 10 times indirectly. Solomon mentions it. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all mention spikenard. Look at that. Interesting. So now, has anybody smelled this before? Does that smell? Smells very woodsy. Smells very, smells expensive. Smells expensive. So Judas became a commie over that right there. Sorry if there's any commies in the room, but not really. I'm just a little outspoken nowadays because I'm sick of the nonsense. Everybody's coming in, everybody's testing positive for everything, even though they never went in and went to the test. And, once the test, I know somebody very close that tested positive, and then I said, well, what are they doing? He said, nothing. I said, well, you tested positive, they're not doing anything for you? No. Well, why'd they test you? Why'd they test you? You know why they did it? So the hospital would get money, and so that your name would go in a database. And false positive. So if they don't have any way of treating you because they outlawed HCQ and, anything, because if HCQ was there, you wouldn't need the shot. And if HCQ was there, you wouldn't have to wear a mask. And if HCQ was there, you wouldn't have to social distance. So, got rid of that. Doctors write a prescription, the pharmacist can't fulfill it, So just think about that. People are getting diagnosed, but there's nothing that they can do for them, even when they're asymptomatic. Or some people just get tested. They have a couple symptoms, but not all the symptoms. They don't even have a fever, and they're getting tested. So they get tested, and then the doctor says, well, nothing we can do, just go home and rest. Well, why'd they test you? Right? Such a nonsense. It's time to wake up because they're locking down everything again. And I don't want to turn this into a whole CV19 class, but, it's just time that everybody wakes up. Spikenard. So that right there, the biblical oils. There's 12 out of 12 biblical oils of the 10 out of 10 that's in the set right now. So we're going to splice all this stuff together in the near future and put it all together as a class for our people who order the 10 oil kit. So there are so many uses for all this stuff. I've got a lot of other stuff we could cover, but really I don't even want to get into. There's basically, just know this. I took a whole lot of information, as we do with every class, took a whole lot of information and kind of boiled it down so you guys can just bite-sized chunks. Nobody has time to research and look at all this nonsense. I mean, I do. But this is what I love to do anyway. I love to teach and kind of boil it all down so y'all can make an informed decision about your health, make an informed decision about all the nonsense you're being told in the media and in news and things like that, if that's what you even call it anymore, and put all this stuff together so you guys can decide on what you're doing for you and your families and your friends, because hardly anybody knows of any other places out there that are doing anything like what we're doing here in your backyard. Does anybody know of anybody else out there that's doing what we're doing? Margie? No? We've got everything under one roof. So now that's basically the oils of ancient scripture. And you guys you guys are hogging the oils here. Look at that. You're taking pictures of my stash and everything. So you know what to order? Oh, okay. Taking pictures of my stash. No, that's fine.
Steal your notes.
That's fine. Oh, okay. Yeah. Any questions on any of this? I know it's a lot of information, but we took a lot of stuff, distilled it down, no pun intended, kind of put it all together and said, how can we make this just very simple but very inspiring at the same time? And I think we fulfilled with the last four classes. We did one of these each quarter, and it's helped. I think some of you have been at probably most, if not all of these. Any questions on any of this stuff? Yes, Will. Microphone?
Just to say those, I don't know if it's really that relevant. You said those last two oils aren't available anymore from anywhere, or is that just a Young Living? They're not available?
Just a Young Living thing.
Just a Young Living.
You can get other spikenards and other galvanums.
Elsewhere. You know why? They just
Young Living's
decided not to?
Well, what I know about Young Living is if they don't have, they're kind of like Standard Process, Mediherb, the other companies that we carry. If they don't have the utmost in quality and they don't have a good source, they don't have a good grower or a good vendor, or if it doesn't fulfill the high goals of quality and the mass spectrometry, and if they don't have a good grower, or if something happened to a crop and it didn't have the right amount of moisture, or it got contaminated or something, they're not going to sell it.
Just curious.
What'd you say?
They have very high standards, and
very high standards,
those
yeah.
plants are also, those two plants in particular are becoming less and less available. So they're already kind of an endangered species as far as plants goes, and then Young Living has very strict and high quality standards on top of that. So they just don't have the ability to produce the quality of product that they want attached to their company.
Yeah, and some companies will,
some companies don't give two rips
some
about
companies
the quality that they're
don't
giving.
give a rip. Or some companies will take, like there are very specific, I have some literature on this if you're on my team and you want to know about it, but there are some companies that will take one specific, Young Living's frankincense is one specific species, one specific genus name, one specific species. And it's only that plant, and it's only a specific part of the plant. There are other companies who will take 5 different species of frankincense, which is really a blend, right, and put it into one oil and then call that frankincense when it's really a blend of 5 different species. So there are companies that do that, and it's a blend of 5 different plants that are all frankincense plants, whereas Young Living does not do that. So Young Living's quality, like for instance, Standard Process does the same thing. There was one specific supplement probably 3 years ago that was one of our top sellers because we used it on everybody. It was just something everybody tested for. It was something that was needed and necessary for everybody. Worked like a charm. It flew off the shelves. It was just the greatest thing since sliced bread. And one day we just got word that that product is no longer available. And we said, well, what's the deal? That thing, they said it was all irradiated. They couldn't find anything that wasn't irradiated by Fukushima. So they weren't going to sell it. That was Standard Process. But that was years ago when Fukushima hit. So the shores where they got the specific supplement were all just irradiated by the Fukushima disaster. It's called Colicol 2. It was bentonite clay. So you got to be careful where you get some of your stuff. Can you get other bentonite clay? Yes. So could you get other spikenard? Yes. Will it really be spikenard? I don't know. Will it have adulterants in it and chemicals to water it down so as to make it go farther and spread? Probably. Is it an endangered plant? Probably. Are other companies unscrupulous? Sometimes, yeah.
So there's like no regulation.
Say what now?
There's no regulation.
No regulation. I don't.
To know that when it says it, that that's not really in there.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, you can look up the ingredients on the plant. I think it's a law that you have to at least have the ingredients on anything that you produce, I think. But sometimes if women using makeup, if you look at your lipstick thing, it might be on there, but you got to have an electron microscope to read it, you know? And it might be the same with unscrupulous oil manufacturers, it might be. But I'm sure that somewhere they have to list it. Nobody laughed at my electron microscope joke? That's the small. Did you? Inside? Well, that's the smallest writing I've ever seen is inside. Oh, mascara and lipstick, women. Your mascara and your lipstick. If you peel the little labels back and you try to read that, it's beyond me. It's like, it's microscope. Yeah, I might have to borrow Pepper's glasses to read it. Yeah. So that's a good question. What kind of regulations are there? I don't know, but I do know that Young Living's their internal regulations are more so than any, you know, they're constantly under scrutiny. So they're above the board. It's just like Standard Process and Mediherb. They're constantly under the thumb. So the only way to beat the thumb is to, you know, be a better thumb than they are with their own products. You know, I mean that. What else? Other questions? Margie, yes.
Young Living's products.
Microphone. We need to be able to hear you. And when you speak into the microphone, you're not going to hear anything. This is going to the audio board in the back. So people talk into the microphone and they look around like, where's the speaker? There is none. Go ahead.
When you're taking Young Living's products, you can ingest them besides topically, right?
Yeah, we'll answer that when the camera goes down. But as long as the label says vitality on it, like lemon, you're not supposed to. Lemon vitality, yes, you can. But we can answer that. That's a good question. We can answer that when the camera goes down. Yes, Craig.
I was just going to ask if essential oil, if this company has any CBD or hemp oils.
Yes.
And what kind?
Yes, we could talk about that. Yes, CBD. There's 3 different CBD. They take out the THC and they replace the sesquiterpenes, the monoterpenes with essential oils, so that you're getting more essential oils than just you would from a CBD oil from a cannabis product. So they replace some of the stuff that's taken out when you remove because all CBD is processed. All CBD is processed. Because you have to take out the THC. So when you take out the THC, you leave a gap in the profile. They replace that. They fill in the gaps in the profile with other oils like cinnamon and peppermint and citrus. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's muscle rubs, CBD muscle rubs, and there's also CBD just oil that you take. Yep. So there's 3 different flavors, and they're all delicious. Yeah, so CBD, and cosmetics, safe cosmetics, kid stuff, dog stuff, cleaning stuff, and then on top of that, you got the oils. On top of all that, toothpaste and deodorant and all the stuff that you would normally buy anyway. So you just, instead of buying it from Procter & Gamble, you buy it from you. Seems like a plan, doesn't it? Yeah. Any other questions? And if you have more questions about some of that, we'll shut the cameras down here in a minute. We'll go through. I'll tell you some of the benefits of all of that. But any other questions before we get into? Oh, and we got to give away some major stuff tonight. And
Yes.
who's spinning? Is anybody spinning? Oh no, three of you. You've been waiting to get back here, haven't you? Yeah, I've been on your radar. Oh, geez. She's going to rob me blind. All right. Anything else for us? Anything Facebook? Anything, questions, comments on Facebook? Okay. Anything else? Any other questions before we shut the cameras down? Wow, we're getting out of here early. This is great. And a couple of giveaways, yeah. All right, we're going to shut her down. So, and then we'll talk for a minute before we come back on. We'll answer some of your questions here. Dr. Brett Spradlin, everybody, get crazy. Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design, Natural Health, Biblical Essential Oils. We'll talk to you next time, next week. All right. Your answer, Margie,